Hi, this is Elsa Thompson doing my first video. So my first question is convert 0.057 grams to micrograms using dimensional analysis. So I wrote out my steps here. Step 1, what is a conversion factor? Well, for every 1 gram, we have 1 million micrograms. So then we can set up our equation using this conversion factor with our example here. So we can use dimensional analysis to put the grams across from each other, so then these units cancel out, taking our first 0.057, putting it over 1, and then multiplying across, and then you get 57,000 micrograms. That was question 1. Question 2, zoom out here a little bit. Okay. I don't know if you can see that, but okay, this is the questions about phosphorus. So phosphorus has one possible atomic number, and that atomic number is 15. It only has one possible because atomic number is the number of protons when it is stable. And when it's stable, it's also the number of electrons. Sorry, not the stable part with the protons, but when it's stable, it also has the same number of electrons as protons, so yeah, it's 15. For B, it can have multiple mass numbers. The mass number is equal to protons plus neutrons. If we have the same number of protons with the same amount, with the same element, we get the same mass. So every time you see the same number of protons and it's also the same element, it's the same mass number. And if we have different mass numbers of neutrons, different number of neutrons with the same element, we get different mass numbers. And then the same element but different mass is isotopes. For example, P15, just so they all have the mass number, atomic number of 15, and then they can have different. So this is 30.97, 31.97, and 29.97. And then they can have one atomic mass. The atomic mass for P is 30.97, and the reason that it can only have one is because the atomic mass is the average mass of all of the different isotopes like this for that element. So the average is 37.97 because you have one's lower and one's higher, and then that's just the spot where it's the most average. So that's question 2. And then question 3, I think I'm gonna zoom back in. I'll slide it over to D when it comes. So this is talking about formaldehyde, H2CO. For A, it has a molar mass of about 30 because when you add up the masses of each of the different elements, we have 2 H's, a C, and an O. So 1 plus 1 plus 12 plus 16 is 30. So it's about 30 because it's like 12.0 something, so yeah. And then the Lewis structure looks like this. And the reason it looks like this is because we have 1 valence electron with H, 1 with the other H, 4 with C, and then we have 2 lone pairs with O and 2 ones that can pair up. So you put C in the middle, and you can take one of these valence electrons and attach it to one of the hydrogens, and then one of these carbon valence electrons and put it to the other hydrogen to make this triangle shape. So this is a single bond. And then for the other 2, you can bond it to these 2 on the oxygen. So then that's a double bond. And then you have the 2 lone pairs that are left over above the O. Yeah, and then for the molecular shape, it is trigonal planar because when carbon bonds to 3 elements, you know it has to be trigonal because that's what the textbook said. So, and then it has 3 outer atoms and, sorry, this should say 2, and 2 lone pairs because of the 2 right here. So then, you know it is trigonal planar. And then for D, it is a polar compound / molecule because here is the electron activity of each of the different elements in it. So carbon has electronegativity of 2.55, hydrogen is 2.20, but doesn't matter, and oxygen is 3.44. So when you subtract C from H, they're almost shared equally, so these bonds right here are more electronegative, so they're more positive. And then when you take oxygen and subtract carbon, you get more of the atoms that are spent with the oxygen because it's a bigger number. So more of these are going to spend time up here. So then that means that this is more negative up here. So then it makes a polar molecule because it's more positive on one side and then more negative on the other. So that makes it polar. So that was my video. Thanks for watching. My Alexa just went off. I don't know what it was, but okay. Thank you. Bye.